Okay, well, if you remember, what we had last time was a situation where when we played the game, we could hit the ball and it would go very, very nicely to the place that we wanted it to go. And what was a bit painful was this number on the top, that when we hit it, the number was tumbling around. Well, what we've done is to make a little addition to the ball script that basically says on update, find out whether there's any velocity to the ball, and if there is, then turn off the label. And if there isn't, and we must be stationary, then turn the label back on again. So that means that we just need a link to the label, and we need to have a link to a reference to the rigid body, which we create at the start, so that we can actually work out what the velocity is of the item. We probably could do the same with angular velocity. That would work just as well. And that that's pretty good. However, that's not what I really wanted to talk about in this session. I wanted to talk about a mini map. So basically a way of, at the moment, we're having to sort of move the target by dragging it around, by going to get it, fetch it, and everything. It'd be much better if we could do that with an overall strategic view. And that basically is what I've created here. So what we've got here is a map of the lawn. It's rotated in the normal Gateball style, and it's exactly the right dimensions, of course, as you'd expect. The gates are in the right spot, and crucially, we can move these balls, little ball icons and targets around. And what we'll want is for the position of those little mini graphic depictions to mirror the three-dimensional view. So if a shot is played on the three-dimensional view, we should see it played out on the 2D view. But opposite, if we drag something on the 2D view, it should drag it on the 3D view. So we've got that nice two-way sort of control. So that's what we're going to do in the next session. But this setting up the 2D map is what I'll explain now. So as you can imagine, there's the outs. It's done on the canvas, so it's all done on the heads-up display, and all the 2D map is a rect transform, and it has within it some other rect transforms, some other panels. This one is just an image, which forms the basis of the outer lawn. So if we were to turn off the inner lawn, that's what we see. The inner lawn is something which has the right sort of dimensions. It's at position 0, 0 on the X and the Y axis, and that means that all of the things within it, like the gate, can be placed at exactly the right sort of spot relative to that. So if the lawn is 1200 by 900, then the pole obviously goes at 0, 0, and all it is a little default sprite in black, 5 wide by 5 high. That's all that pole is. It's just that. And it's just placed 0, 0. So it's right in the middle of the rect that's 1200 by 900. The line here is at minus 600, and it's 900 high and 2 wide, and so on with the other lines. So that all works nicely. Now, the balls are depicted by little sprites, little circles, and those sprites were just created here. So they're literally just a circle picture, and they have one important thing on them. and that is they have this thing called a UIElementDragger. Now what that enables us to do is when we press play, it means that we can drag the item around. So it's basically a little thing I found on a forum that allows you to drag a UI item around on the canvas. So really, really amazing. Now you can do that with any UI item. It can be a dialog box or anything like that. In this case, it's each of these 10 balls or mini balls, and it's also the target. So I've got a little target mini, and also I've got this little icon here, which is the camera. So here I'm dragging the something that's going to be a little depiction of the camera. So you can see that in future we'll be able to move this around to go and take close-ups of the hoops and the balls and the shots. So the key thing that underlying all of these is this UIElementDragger. Now I'm not going to pretend that I fully understand it, but it's a very, very simple script. Instead of being mono behavior, it uses event trigger behavior. I don't really know what that means, but you get the general sense here that if you are dragging, so if you're in the process of dragging, then the position of the thing that you're dragging, the thing that the script is attached to, will move according to where the mouse position is, but minus the offset that was initially present when you did the clicking. So when you put the pointer down, you say dragging is true, and you work out what that offset is. When the pointer comes up, dragging is false, and the update stops. So I'm not totally sure how about the syntax here, the pointer event data business, but it's a brilliant, brilliant little script. And if you attach it to any UI item on the canvas, it will drag that around. So this has set the foundations nicely for what we're going to do in the next session, which is to get the position of the balls on the lawn to reflect on the mini-map, and the ability for us to drag the items on the mini-map and for that to affect the position of the balls and the target on the lawn. So we'll do that in the next session.